And don't forget, Saturday on ABC Sports, our college football doubleheader begins at noon Eastern with the 9th-ranked Notre Dame taking on number 7 Texas. And then at 3:30 Eastern, Boston College battles 11th-ranked Michigan, or other regional action. And for those of you on the West Coast, Oregon and Washington State at 4 o'clock Pacific. Check your local listings for your game on your ABC station and the games available from your cable operator Saturday on ABC Sports. We'll go down to the pits again, Jackaroo.
Well, Paul, we've got a little bit of a problem with your leader one more time. Now, when you come into the pits, you see the lollipop board that comes down. It always says reset the meter. There's a little button on the dashboard that the driver has to do to reset the fuel metering. Now, what that does is tells the driver how many gallons of fuel are left in the cockpit between fuel stops. That reset button did not reset the dash. So Robbie Gordon is driving without that information right now. No real big problem because the telemetry on board will relay the information back to the Valvoline pits. But here is the problem now with fuel consumption so critical to make it in 3 stops. They're going to have to show by radio, and everybody else can listen in, exactly what their fuel consumption is, and it could get dicey down to the end of the race. Gary?
Minor problems for Ari Luyendyk relating to radio communication. Buddy Lindblom says it's very scratchy. It's not critical at this point. It is, however, a concern. They made one suspension change around the wings on his last pit stop. Now, there was speculation as to whether or not Mike Groff may have been involved in contact. We talked with the crew, and they say he has told us absolutely nothing. And then they laughed and said, but remember, at Loudon, he didn't tell us on the radio that he'd been involved in a contact incident. So as far as they know, everything's clean and smooth. Paul?
All right, well, we're under the caution now, and with the stops, John Paul Jr. in the 18 car has taken the lead of the race. Stewart is in second, followed by Gordon. Mark Dismore, that's the other Menard car, is now in fourth. Ari Luyendyk back in fifth with his pit stop. Then Richie Hearn, Stan Waddles, Mike Groff, Scott Sharp, and Michel Jourdain Jr. That's the top 10. You see them all right there.
They should be coming back to a green flag this time, Paul.
Pace car has already moved down onto the pit road, and look at this. As John Paul Jr. moves high, Stewart tries to get him. Other car is Johnny Unser, not a factor in the battle at the front of the field. John Paul Jr. pulls away. Stewart darts down to the inside. John Paul Jr. grabs a middle lane and pulls away from Stewart.
Now, often Stewart would back off a little bit like that because of the dirty air that John Paul was making.
I don't think Tony Stewart likes to back off much, though.
Yeah, but what's surprising me is 3 times we've seen him now with an opportunity on a restart, and we haven't really seen that car come surging forward like one might expect.
No, but I think that was a better restart, and maybe these guys, just the way the car in front of him is starting, and if he has to back off of it, it takes it longer to spool up. Look at him go by there. He
and just behind him, though, is Robbie Gordon, who's now closing.
You know, another interesting point is that John Paul Jr. also has a Menard engine.
Not the Menard team, but the Menard motor, certainly.
And at this particular race, I think they're all the iron blocks, too, Paul, so they're all kind of even, instead of some of them having the aluminums in the Menards.
Well, I'm under the impression that John Menard's team itself is running with the aluminum block.
They've been running both ways on that. I think they've got the aluminum in for the race, but in practice and all that they would run the iron because they've had a little bit of problem with the aluminum block.
Richie Hearn with Ari Luyendyk working on him. It's a battle for fifth.
1.6, Ari, 1.6.
And that's Derek Walker giving the separation back to Ari Luyendyk. Apparently they don't seem to be concerned about Dismore, who's in there in fourth place, separating Gordon and Luyendyk. Luyendyk now works on Dismore.
Bobby, I still think the big factor in this race is still going to be traffic.
And Hearn begins to close on Luyendyk. Hearn looks to the inside. And Hearn passes Luyendyk, picks up fifth.
Now remember, sometimes when you see passes like that, it's nothing more than turning the boost up a little bit or shifting the gear between the race gear and the cruise gear.
Luyendyk all the way down the flat. to try and get past. Loses some speed. Hearn still in behind him.
But then he protected his position, and Hearn had to lift a little bit in there. I'm telling you, Bobby, I think the traffic, they're so affected by what the car in front of them is doing in the corner. Not just from the air, but whether they have to back off or not. Look at this. Look at this, Hearn.
Coming up behind Arie Luyendyk, trying to get him again.
He's not going high enough to get around him, though.
Yeah, Arie Luyendyk seen that move before.
Running speeds upwards of 219 miles an hour in this battle. And Scott Sharp beginning to close in, too, on the battle between Hearn and Luyendyk. Back up to the front.
Those are fast speeds for this time of the race, Paul.
Look at this. Tony Stewart diving down low. Tried to go low under John Paul. What happens, too, when you get in a battle like what we're seeing with Luyendyk, that actually slows the car up, so the car behind him is going to have a little cleaner shot to get to him.
Riding on board with Tony Stewart. We're just going to ride here as he chases the leader. Well, look at all the... that looks mostly to be tire debris that we're seeing catch the screen in the corners there, like it's just peeling right off the tire and onto the lens.
There's also an awful lot of dirt. This track is dirty. It's the first race it's ever had, and just now getting clean between the tires. And you got to remember, the sun is really beating on the racetrack. That makes it hard on the tires.
And Bobby, you saw that car that went up high there, right in front, going up the dust. All of that stuff, all that dirt and everything. That lens is grabbing all of it.
Going to wear our camera out, I'm afraid, before this race is over.
It'll be fine. John Paul Jr. now with Tony Stewart attacking him, trying to move to the inside, battle for the lead.
John
Las
Paul
Vegas 500K, the Indy Racing League, can't do it.
John Paul just keeps his leg in it right in the middle of the corner. He's going to make Tony earn it.
And one thing interesting, John Paul Jr. is on Goodyears, and Tony Stewart's on Firestone.
So the battle right now is at the front of the field. The only other contest going on is Arie Luyendyk still has Reggie Hearn right behind him and working him. And a little further back, Eliseo Salazar is now trying to close on Roberto Guerrero for 10th, but the key battle is right here at the front of the field. So we'll keep track of the run for the lead here. Let's go down to Gary Gerald.
Paul, here's our fourth driver we've talked to, released from the safety center. It's rookie Tice Carlson. Tice, what happened?
I was passing the lap car, and I came off of 2, and I don't know if he had a push or what, but we just got together coming off of 2, and we got into the wall. It wasn't his fault. He didn't mean to hit me.
And who is that you're talking about?
It was a blue and white car. There are 3 or 4 teams like that out here, so I'm not going to mention any names. We thought we had a good run going today. Owen Schneider was crew chiefing for us in the Harris Las Vegas Discount Golf and Tennis car, and we went back a little bit. We had a little bit of push. We changed tires, put a different set of tires on, got that really taken care of, and we're going back forward, but it just wasn't our day. We'll be back. We'll put a live sponsorship together and come back.
Thanks, Tice.
Well, at the front of the field is still John Paul Jr. Look at this. This is back just a little bit further. Nice battle. Robbie Gordon, Mark Dismore, Arie Luyendyk, Richie Hearn, all 4 of them battling for 3rd place.
These guys are really going to be tired if they race like this for this entire race. This track is really hard on drivers. You think about pulling 4 Gs 2 times every lap for 300 miles, really hard on the driver.
There are the 4. Gordon, Dismore, Luyendyk, Hearn. Luyendyk closes a bit on Dismore. And we got a good example when we saw Scott Sharp's onboard camera about what the G-loading is doing, pushing these guys down into the cockpit. The massive Gs when they get into the corner jacker route.
Well, not only massive Gs, but consider that visibility. You're looking through a driver's lens right now off a Simpson helmet. See how clear it is at the start of the race?
Another car into the wall. It looks to be Stewart.
Boy, that's the color scheme from
Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. Whoa.
So there is part of John Menard's hope going away. Now he has Mark Dismore, who is going to move up to 3rd place as a result of this, the 2nd place car getting in contact with the wall. Oh, what a terrible disappointment.
Oh, and especially he was racing for the lead. Looked like they had a good race going.
Oh, he's sitting there moving around. I don't think there's anything wrong because the wreck didn't look like it was that bad, but by the same token, he's one bad feeling boy right now.
Remember Tony Stewart and his dominant moves at the race at Loudon, the New England race? Boy. And then suddenly mechanical ills take him out of that run. Now an accident takes him out of the fight here as he battles for the lead with John Paul Jr. And so the caution comes out again. They're helping him out, moving slow, but I think, again, that's just a matter, well, he's asking for a little help.
Yeah, he might have something wrong with his feet. You know, these cars are awfully tight inside. I know when you see Tice Carlson get out, you wonder as big as he is, but the cars end up getting shimmed right down to the drivers.
You know, Bill Simpson and the other uniform manufacturers make the uniform with those epaulets so they can be lifted, so you can actually help a driver out of the car.
He's got something wrong with his feet there, Paul.
Let's hope he's all right. Let's take a look at how this occurred. We're looking from the onboard camera and see if we can figure anything out at all, Danny and Bobby.
Okay, he's going into turn one there, Bobby.
There's nobody supposed to be in front of him.
He lifted off just a little bit. He just lost it.
Something could have broken on that car, Danny. That was an awful fast spin. I mean, he didn't just do a real slow lose on that one, I promise.
No, that thing jumped around on him real fast.
Well, they're being very careful with Tony Stewart as they lift him out of the car. Let's go back to the pitch. Jack Arute, you were telling us, and then we got interrupted.
Well, you don't like to hear that about Tony Stewart. He was communicating by radio to Larry Curry, but he was yelling, so we couldn't really determine just exactly if he does have a foot problem. You're looking, as we said, through a typical visor at the start of the race. Now we're going to remove it, and here's what the visors look like at about this point in the race. Now, what causes all of this? You were talking about the tire pieces coming up, but all the drivers are reporting that the grit, the sand from the desert here, comes up and actually pits these plastic visors. Now, these visors are strong enough to withstand a bullet shot at it, but it still will pit. Now, what the people in the helmet manufacturers, and Simpson in particular, have done is they manufactured for this race special tearaways that were several thousandths thicker. The reason, thinking that if the sand came up and pitted the tearaways, a driver could then tear one away and have clear view.
All right, well, now the leader, John Paul Jr., comes into the pits under this yellow for Tony Stewart's accident. Sticker tires on the back, sticker tires on the front.
Which means new tires. Good time to do it, though, Paul, while you're under a yellow flag.
Spins the tires, and the 18 Earl supply car moves back into the fight. Robbie Gordon picks up the lead of the race. Ari Lyondike moves into second. Mark Dismore to third. And Richie Hearn into fourth. There's your leader. We'll be back with more from Las Vegas after this.
The Indy Racing League at Las Vegas. This ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. True Value, official hardware store of IRL and garages everywhere. And Pennzoil Motor Oil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance standard.
We are back at the Indy Racing League, Las Vegas 500K, and still under caution. This one involving the second place car of Tony Stewart getting against the wall. The souped up trucks will hit the track in Martinsville for the first time at this distance. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Haynes 250. That's Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern. And then Dale Earnhardt takes to the track to try and make it 2 in a row in the Martinsville race, the NASCAR Haynes 500. Sunday at 12:40 Eastern. The fast-paced NASCAR excitement next weekend and only on ESPN. Well, let's go back and take a look at the onboard camera once again of Tony Stewart. We'll put it in slow motion this time, and perhaps Danny and Bobby, we can get a better idea of what happened to him. Looked like he just lost it quickly. Now, there has been a lot of sand blowing over the wall down in the first and second turn here. Maybe that's a factor. I don't know.
Paul, usually sand will let you break away fast, or slow, I'm sorry. Let's watch this, because Danny and I both think that he broke away awfully fast. Now, here he goes into #1 turn. Now, just about now, he should start getting in trouble. Now, just look at that.
See his hands come around.
That's very slow motion, and you just don't turn the steering wheel that fast unless something broke. Is that what you think, Dan?
Yeah. Well, did you see his head jump up there, too? But, you know, something the USAC officials told me earlier, that because it's a new track, because of where we are, the desert, everything, that they've been having quite a few punctures, but caused by little rocks and stuff like that. and he get the load in there.
Well, his hands were totally steady. Gary Gerald, you talked with Larry Curry about this.